A great way to freshen up and lighten a room is to cover a brick or block masonry wall with Gyprock Plasterboard, a simpler process than cement render that provides a more premium wall finish. In this 5th video in the Gyprock DIY video series, we'll show you the process using Gyprock plus Plasterboard direct fixed to a well-aligned, unpainted brick wall. Our wall had a fireplace which was removed and the void filled with brickwork. A TV was also removed and will be reinstalled. The method and the materials we'll use are suitable for non-tiled, non-fire rated internal walls that are not in wet areas. As always, we recommend you download a copy of the Red Book 2 Residential Installation Guide from the Gyprock website for full design considerations and technical details for other project types. Before you begin, make sure you have your personal safety gear ready. And here are the tools and materials you'll see used in our project. Check the alignment of the wall for suitability with a straight edge. If your wall surface is irregular and has hollows or protrusions greater than 15mm, you'll need to use leveling pads or install an adjustable furring channel system. Make sure the wall is firm, clean, and free of dust and oil. For painted masonry walls, you'll need to remove paint with a wire brush or grinder where the adhesive is to be placed. As with all Gyprock projects, it's a good idea to plan your setup to have the least number of joints. Gyprock can be installed horizontally or vertically, so if your wall is longer than it is tall, you'll want to be installing your sheets horizontally to ideally have just one recessed edge joint across the middle. For wall heights close to 2.4 meters, you'll use two 1200mm wide sheets. Over 2.4 meters, you'll need to switch to 1350s. Try to choose a sheet length that covers the wall width and, where possible, avoid butt joints, where the ends of two sheets butt together. The joint setting process for butt joints is a little more difficult to achieve a high level of finish. If you plan to have narrow skirtings, you'll need to cut off the 60mm sheet edge recess along the floor and take that into account for your material choice. To affix the sheets to the masonry wall, we're using Gyprock Masonry Adhesive. Masonry adhesive should be stored in a dry place, not on concrete floors or damp ground. Make sure you store Gyprock Plasterboard lying down in a covered dry place away from rain or excess humidity. Plasterboard sheets are easier to handle on their edge, and it's best to have 2 people for lifting and installing. Measure up and allow up to 10mm clearance all around, depending on your chosen edge finishing method. Gyprock Plasterboard can be cut with a fine-tooth saw, but the easiest way to cut Gyprock, like the professionals, is by scoring and snapping. Measure and mark both edges of the sheet on the face side. Score a line all the way across using a sharp utility knife and a straight edge, making sure you cut through the paper facing and only a couple of millimeters into the core. Push on the off-cut piece to snap the core along the score line. Now simply cut through the back lining paper at the fold. For cutting around door and window openings, first measure and mark the sheet and then make your first cut using your saw. Once you have the saw cut, you can then saw or score and snap the other cut. A keyhole saw is ideal for cutting out holes for power points, switches, or light fittings. Push the tip of the saw through the sheet to start the cut, then cut along your marked lines. First, strike a chalk line or mark the ceiling and floor around 15mm out from the wall to use as a guide to align the face of the sheet. Then mark where the edge of the sheets will be to assist in adhesive placement. Gyprock Masonry Adhesive is a dry powder setting type compound with a working life of about 40 to 45 minutes. Mixed to a thick consistency, masonry adhesive can be applied to the wall or the sheet. We'll be applying it to the wall. Mix the masonry adhesive with water in a clean bucket, following the instructions on the bag. Start by applying daubs of adhesive to the wall 50mm in diameter and 15mm thick with a 75mm broad knife. Adhesive is placed 50mm from all sheet edges. For vertical sheet edges, place daubs at 250mm maximum centers, and for horizontal edges and the rest of the sheet at 450mm maximum centers. If the wall is out of alignment by up to 15mm, bigger daubs can be used to help even out the finished surface. For our bottom sheet, we're using more adhesive daubs closer together. Place plasterboard offcuts on the floor and lift your first sheet into place, pressing it evenly against the wall. Install the upper sheet tight against the lower sheet and use a straight edge to tamp the sheets into alignment vertically and horizontally, using your chalk line marks as a guide. Hold the sheets in position for at least 80 minutes to set by propping or with temporary masonry nails through sheet edges, and if necessary, temporary blocks or props to the field of the sheet. Do not disturb the walls or set the joints for at least 48 hours. For a full description of the jointing process, take a look at video 2 in the Gyprock DIY series, Setting Gyprock Joints. For any questions about your specific project, check with your Gyprock supplier for advice.